Steelers fans, it's official. The wait, the speculation, the endless debates is all over. Because the Pittsburgh Steelers have just made the kind of move that shakes an entire franchise to its core. After years of quarterback uncertainty, Pittsburgh has finally pulled the trigger. And they didn't just bring in anyone. They went and got the man himself. 4-time NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion, one of the most polarizing and talented passers the league has ever seen, Aaron Rodgers, is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. And let me tell you something, this is not just a signing. This is the beginning of a brand new chapter, a new era, and potentially the most thrilling storyline the city has seen since the days of Big Ben hoisting Lombardis. Now, before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, let's take a moment to understand what this truly means. Aaron Rodgers, yes, that Aaron Rodgers is not walking into some rebuilding situation. He's not here to mentor a young kid and ride off quietly into retirement. He is here because the Steelers believe they're ready to win right now. This move screams urgency. This move says that Pittsburgh is done being patient. They're done waiting for a drafted quarterback to develop. They've looked at the landscape, they've seen the window they have with stars like Cam Hayward, and they've said, let's go for it. There's no denying that Cam Hayward is nearing the end of a remarkable career, and the clock is ticking. He's already made it clear that he wants one more real shot at the Super Bowl before he hangs up the cleats, and the front office clearly heard him loud and clear. Bringing in Rodgers is not about long-term development, it's about maximizing the short 2-year window. It's about taking a shot with a quarterback who's been there, done that, and still has the arm and the mind to make one more run at greatness. But make no mistake, Rodgers is not being asked to come in and carry the entire team on his shoulders. The vision here is clear. Pittsburgh wants him to be a high-functioning game manager, someone who can run the offense efficiently, make the smart throws, protect the football, and trust the talent around him. Because when you look at what the Steelers are building, a physical run game, dynamic weapons on the outside, and a defense that when healthy can go toe-to-toe with anyone, Rodgers doesn't have to be 2011 MVP Rodgers. He just needs to be the best version of 2025 Rodgers. And that's why this move makes so much sense. Look back at last year. The team rolled the dice on Russell Wilson, hoping he could tap into his old form and bring some life to the offense. But the truth is he was never given a fair shot. The offensive line collapsed, the run game disappeared, the weapons weren't consistent, and the defense fell apart when it mattered most. No quarterback, not even prime Rodgers, could have succeeded in those conditions. So the failure wasn't just on Russ, it was on the team around him. Now, Pittsburgh can't afford to make the same mistake twice. Signing Rodgers is step one, but the job isn't done. Omar Khan and the front office need to keep stacking this roster. They need to protect him. They need to make sure the run game is reliable. They need to give him receivers he can trust. Because if they do that, if they give Rodgers the support that Wilson never had, there's every reason to believe this team can not only return to the playoffs, but actually win in January. Something they haven't done in far too long. Let's talk about what Rodgers still brings to the table. Because this isn't some washed-up veteran just collecting one last paycheck. Statistically, even in what was considered a down year for him, Rodgers still outperformed guys like Tom Brady in his final season in New England and Brett Favre during his 1 year with the Jets. And we all know what happened after that. Favre went to Minnesota at age 40 and played arguably the best season of his entire career, taking the Vikings to the NFC Championship. Brady, meanwhile, left Foxborough and immediately won a Super Bowl in Tampa. So yes, quarterback's over. 40 can still win. They can still play elite football. And Rodgers, more than either of those guys, has the arm talent that simply hasn't faded. That's the key right there. Arm strength, arm talent. It's still there. Rodgers still throws one of the best deep balls in the league. His release is lightning quick. He still drops those back shoulder fades right on the money. He still manipulates defenses with his eyes and body language like only a handful of quarterbacks ever could. He's not going to scramble around and make magic on the run the way he did 10 years ago. That part of his game has slowed down, no doubt. But the mental edge, the processing, the decision-making, the accuracy, it's all still elite. And when you look at what Mike Tomlin wants in a quarterback, Rodgers checks every box. Experienced in the playoffs? Check. Over 20 postseason games under his belt. Protects the football? Check. Lowest interception percentage in NFL history. Efficient deep ball passer? Absolutely. Not afraid to get in a teammate's face when something needs to be fixed. Oh, you better believe it. Because let's talk about the leadership element too. There's a narrative floating around that Rodgers is a locker room cancer. That he's too much of a diva that he won't mentor young guys. But where is that coming from, really? Ask the guys who've actually played with him. Guys like Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, even Zach Wilson, and Jordan Love. The story they tell is different. They talk about how Rodgers connects with teammates, how he commands a room, how he sets the tone for accountability. He's not Mr. Positivity all the time. And honestly, that's probably what this team needs. Russell Wilson was all about staying upbeat, but sometimes that constant optimism just isn't what a team needs when things go wrong. Rodgers, on the other hand, is going to speak up. He's going to challenge guys. He's going to demand more. And for a young, talented, but inconsistent offense like Pittsburgh's, that kind of leadership might be exactly what finally gets them over the hump. And let's not pretend Rodgers is walking into a team without talent. You've got George Pickens, one of the most exciting young receivers in the league. You've got a solid tight end room. The running back duo is dangerous. And if they make another move, maybe add a veteran wideout or bolster the offensive line in the draft. This offense could very well be explosive. The key is putting it all together: consistency, execution, chemistry. And that's where Rodgers can make a real difference. You don't need him to be a superhero. You need him to be Tom Brady in Tampa. Peyton Manning in Denver, efficient, smart, calculated, the kind of guy who lives in the pocket, gets the ball out quickly, reads defenses like a chess master, and doesn't make back-breaking mistakes. That's the style Rodgers is built to play at this stage in his career. That's the version of Rodgers that can win playoff games and maybe, just maybe, bring a 7th Lombardi trophy to Pittsburgh. So what's the confidence level right now? If we're being honest, it's not a 10. No one can guarantee success. Injuries happen, players regress, chemistry doesn't always click, maybe Rodgers loses his edge, maybe the team falls apart. That's all on the table. But right now, based on what we know, based on the move itself and what Rodgers still brings, there's absolutely reason to be excited. This is not a desperation signing. This is not a gimmick. This is a calculated decision by a franchise that believes it can win. And for the first time in a long time, there's real hope under center in Pittsburgh. Rodgers might only have 1 or 2 years left. But if they get it right, if they give him the right tools, keep the defense healthy, and finally stop shooting themselves in the foot come playoff time, there is no reason this team can't go on a run. And maybe, just maybe, it ends with a trip to the top. A new quarterback, a new mentality, a new era. The Aaron Rodgers era has officially begun in the Steel City. And as this new chapter begins, the expectations are naturally sky high. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is still the NFL, and nothing is guaranteed. Success with Aaron. Rodgers will come down to execution, health, and above all, cohesion. That's something this team hasn't had consistently in recent years. Whether it was quarterback instability, underwhelming offensive line play, or a defense that couldn't finish strong, there's always been one piece missing. The hope is that Rodgers is the final piece that allows everything to click into place. Now, it's fair to question how much Rodgers truly has left in the tank. He's 41. He's coming off a major injury. He hasn't played a full season in over a year. But when you watch the film, when you study the throws, the decision-making, the leadership on the field, it's hard to say he's done. His arm strength still pops. The ball still comes out with velocity. He's still manipulating safeties, still reading coverages like a Hall of Famer. What's changed is his mobility. He's not going to extend plays with his legs the way he used to. So the Steelers need to make sure he's protected. Keep him upright, give him a pocket to work from, and he can still pick apart defenses. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a surprising turn of events that's stirring up the NFL rumor mill, whispers are growing louder about the Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott possibly becoming the next big name to lead the Pittsburgh Steelers. While no official announcements have been made. Insiders and fans alike are buzzing over the potential move that could shake up the league. Dak Prescott, known for his strong arm and leadership on the field, has been a pivotal figure for the Cowboys for several seasons. Yet, with the Steelers facing a critical crossroads at the quarterback position, the idea of bringing in a seasoned signal caller like Prescott has sparked a wave of speculation. The Steelers, a franchise with a rich history and championship pedigree, have struggled in recent years to find a consistent leader under center. The buzz is that Pittsburgh might be ready to make a bold play in the quarterback market, and Prescott's name keeps surfacing as a top candidate. Sources close to the situation suggest that while negotiations are far from concrete, the appeal is mutual. Prescott's desire to compete for a Super Bowl title aligns perfectly with the Steelers' ambition to return to the playoff spotlight. Fans in Pittsburgh are reportedly excited by the possibility of acquiring a quarterback who has proven himself capable of both rallying a team and making clutch plays. The move could signal a major shift in the Steelers' offensive strategy, potentially rejuvenating a franchise eager for a new era of success. On the other side, the Cowboys camp has been relatively quiet about the rumors, which only adds fuel to the fire. Prescott's contract situation and the team's long-term plans remain a mystery, leaving plenty of room for speculation. Could the Cowboys be willing to part ways with their franchise quarterback if it means gaining valuable assets or rebuilding around new pieces? Or is this just another rumor in the NFL offseason frenzy? If this deal were to materialize, it would undoubtedly become one of the most talked about moves of the year, setting the stage for an exciting next chapter for both Prescott and the Steelers. Until then, fans and analysts will keep watching closely, eager to see if this tantalizing possibility becomes reality or remains just another intriguing whisper in the NFL's ever-changing landscape. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.